Good morning from the heart of New York City. This is Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast dedicated to wanting to learn and apply to eat better daily. I'm your host, Angela Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist, your personal health and wellness coach, your personal fat loss guru, your personal food detective, and just someone with a lot of passion, curiosity, and obsession for everything and anything we put on our plates, in our mouth, and that ends up in our bodies. And hopefully that makes us look better, feel better, and perform better on all levels. But these days, as we know, it seems the other way around. Well, what I mean by that is what we eat seems to make us feel worse, perform worse, and look worse on all levels. Guys, today before we go before we finish our week and go and have amazing weekend, I want you to think about diets, about dietary approach in your life. Why you need to use certain dietary approach and how to do it properly. Well, let's start with low carb keto diets. Carnivore diet also comes into scene right now. All these diets are amazing and they have purpose. I'm on a keto diet, modified keto diet, and I absolutely love it. It works for my lifestyle, for my goals, for everything. I feel amazing. I look amazing. I perform great mentally and physically, have amazing energy all day long. It just works for me, right? That's why I do it. But it doesn't mean that it's a perfect diet, and specifically the way I do it, it's for sure not the perfect way to do it for everyone. Plus, for me, it changes, from day to day, depending on how I feel, on what I'm doing, what my goals are. And the same should be for you. You try different diets because usually something doesn't exactly work for you the way you do it, right? So, for example, if you're eating a lot of processed food, then you might experience some negative effects like low energy or energy spikes with high energy levels and low energy levels. You might have metabolic issues, having high and low blood sugar or insulin levels. You might have weight problems, especially, these days a lot of people accumulate weight in the middle section and what we now can call stress fat or stress belly. And diet can really change all of it because diet changes what you are built from, how much energy you have, what kind of energy you have. Every cell of our body is built from the foods that we put in our body. And of course, exercise matters. Of course, sleep matters. Of course, our overall lifestyle and activity levels matters, and stress management. But food is the most intimate connection to our environment because food makes us, literally, it builds us. So dietary strategies, dietary approach should be the first thing that you think about when you want to improve something in the way you feel, your energy, your health, the way you look, the way you perform on all levels. But just because some diet sounds really amazing and it's the thing right now, it doesn't mean that this is perfect diet. First of all, perfect diet for you is something that you can sustain for life without adding stress to your life. Something that works for you on all levels, something that makes you feel better just because you're doing it. That's ultimately the best diet for you. But what you want to think about that something might work for you after a while, like for example, low carb diet or whole foods diet if you're coming from the diet of processed foods. It might not necessarily makes you feel the best and awesome right away. Like there is that transition period, and the more the radical change is, the worse you're probably gonna feel for like a week or two, sometimes 3 or 4, depending what you're doing and what you transition from and to. A lot of people talk about a keto diet, sorry, carnivore diet these days. And people eat, for example, diet high in processed food, high in processed carbohydrates like sugars, processed grains, and all these additives and toxins that come with processed food. So people follow this diet, and then all of a sudden they decide that keto diet sounds pretty damn good, or carnivore diet sounds pretty damn simple, and you eat as much as you want and you lose all the weight, and your energy soars up and you perform mentally and physically better. And it all sounds amazing. So you try it coming from the diet of processed stuff, high in refined carbohydrates, and then you feel like shit. And you're like, this probably just, some fat diet. It doesn't work. It's just some weird people who try it, and for them only it works, and for me it doesn't work. Well, guys, transition matters. Like, where you're coming from to what you're coming from with what kind of health and metabolism, that really matters. Like, I'm doing, a really, really low carb diet. Like, there is almost no carbs whatsoever every day, and I'm feeling amazing. But guys, since I was a teenager, I've been eating really clean. When they opened up first McDonald's in Russia, I already was too, smart to eat that shit. My mom always cooked our home-cooked dinners. I never really was exposed too much to highly processed food, and lots of it. So I've been always eating really clean diet. Yes, it was higher in carbs when I was growing up. Yes, I used to eat grains like oatmeal mostly, or buckwheat, never really processed shit that they sell right now at the stores. I stopped eating bread and pastries probably somewhere around when I was 13 or 14. Added sugar was really rare occasion. I used to eat sometimes like processed sugar, pastries, and most of them were actually cooked by my mom or my sister, who's 5 years older and also an amazing cook. My father also cooks. Like Russian culture, Eastern European cultures, in general, we prefer cooking our food, buying the best ingredients, and we're eating healthier than, let's say, Americans. It now changes a little bit, and we have a lot of shit and processed food in our stores too, but most people still cook most of their meals. What I'm trying to say is, I'm coming from a completely different nutritional path, whereas a lot of people eat a lot of processed food, refined carbs, and then they start all of a sudden doing keto and carnivore diet that is complete opposite. And very often people don't pay attention to the quality of their food, so they're eating, conventionally grown meats and fish that is full of toxins, and on top of that transition, they add those toxins, and of course, you can, if you do the same thing, feel like shit, and it might never end for you, because transition also matters. Like, again, you need to do it step by step. I did not come to keto diet and carnivore diet from nowhere. At first, I used to eat more vegetables. I used to eat more fruit. I used to eat more nuts, right? But my diet was always clean, almost, 95% of the time I would eat really clean diet. And sometimes I would have some, maybe cheat days or something like that. And that's why also, keto diet, carnivore diet, feels really amazing for me, and nothing difficult about it. But you need to really take into consideration yourself and your nutritional past, your metabolic health, your age, your activity level, all of that, and then creates a plan that you can actually sustain without going back and forth, because yo-yo dieting, going from, carnivore diet, high fat, high protein, low carb, going back to processed carbs, high processed carb diet and going back and forth, this is like the worst thing for your health that you can that you can do. It's even worse than being on a high carb diet all the time, because high protein, high fat, and then high carb really creates metabolic disaster and health disaster. So keto diet, carnivore diet, guys, might not work for you because it's just too early. Your metabolism needs time to adjust before you can feel awesome and amazing and really feel the benefits of any particular dietary approach. So just make sure you know what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve at the end, and make some sensible plan, gradual plan that you can sustain and still live your life. You know, there was a article on the internet, like more like a blog, about a guy who again transitioned, you know, from having average Joe's diet to carnivore diet, and his life, you know, became miserable because he didn't have energy, he couldn't think straight, he couldn't exercise, he felt like nothing, you know, and all he could think of was not eating ever meat again. So that can happen if you do it like that, you know, being on an average diet and then switching to something like carnivore diet. Yeah, of course it's going to feel like shit, you know, and you probably shouldn't do that. You should do gradual step-by-step transition, and that's how you minimize the negative effects. Change is never easy, but it doesn't mean that it have to suck like like I don't know, it doesn't mean that your whole life should suck because you change your diet. That's what I'm trying to say. And also, don't think that what you do now, what you're about to change, is for life. Like, a lot of people have this mentality. I used to have one when I was, you know, a teenager, this all or nothing approach to life. I used to think that, well, I'm going on a keto diet, for example, and I'm never going to eat fruit again or sugar again. But guys, it's life. What works for me right now might not necessarily work for me the same way or perfectly the same way in, you know, a few years, maybe a year from now. You just never know. Your body changes, you change, your goals change. And when you don't have that mentality that it's forever, it's actually easier to stick with the diet. Because, for example, if you take keto diet and say, well, I'm just going to try this keto diet for 3 weeks, it feels much lighter and easier, and you're probably going to be, it's probably going to be easier for you to stick to this diet if you take an approach of experiment, not like lifelong change that's going to put a lot of unnecessary pressure on yourself and will actually set you up for failure and self-sabotage and all kinds of cheats and cravings, just because in your mind you said it to yourself, I'm gonna do it for life and I'm not gonna eat sugar or grains or whatever ever again. Like, this is not how you do it. This is not how human beings work. Believe me, this is not how your psychology works. And if you do something like that, you're gonna work against your mind, and your mind will win at the end anyway. So approach any dietary experiment as an actual experiment. Set a time frame, I don't know, a month, 2 months, 3 months, depending again on your goals. Create step-by-step plan of implementation that allow you to live your life, get progress that you seek, but don't make your whole life around it, because again, that's going to be a lot of unnecessary pressure and you're going to self-sabotage yourself. So first thing, create an experiment, have a time frame, know exactly what you're doing and how you're doing. Make the process gradual and not too stressful. It should be challenging, but not too challenging. Know yourself and know what you can actually do, instead of thinking that all of a sudden you're going to change and you're going to be able to have the most willpower that you ever had in your life. Just not going to happen, guys. I tried it. Never happens like that. So gradual approach. And then measure the progress, track the progress, like every week, every few days, again, depending on the thing that you're doing. Journal, document somehow your journey, like how you feel, how your energy are, like depending on your goals, what you're trying to improve, track that. Take just a few things that you track, that you measure, and every few days, every week or so, again, depending on your experiments, track like what improves, what doesn't improve, what you like, what you don't like, what you might try. Try not to change a lot of things at the same time. Otherwise, you'll never be able to really figure out what worked and what didn't work, and what you were changing in the first place. So that's why I have my food diary all the time, my exercise, my training. I know what I'm doing, and when something doesn't work, I know what I gotta change to at least get it back to where I was when I felt better, to try something new. So that's how you make progress. That's how you create new routine or something new in your life that's gonna bring you more benefits that you're having at the moment. So to recap, to create dietary approach or new dietary habits in your life sustainably, that so they improve something about your health or your fitness or the way you look. So first thing, you need to figure out exactly what you're doing, what you want to do, why you want to do, what your goals are. Second thing, you need to create a plan, an approach, and treat it as experiment. So, for example, 4 weeks or 2 months or 3 months, create step-by-step plan that you actually know you can do without stressing too much about it. And the third thing is track your progress. So do the things that you wanted to measure to improve. Are they actually improving, or are they staying the same, or are they getting worse? And then adjust your experiment based on that. So again, figure out what you're doing, create a plan that you can actually do, and treat it as experiment, not as lifelong, pursuit of being a keto, keto fan for life forever and be the most keto person in the world. Some people, I feel like that's their goal for life now, to be in ketosis 365 days a year, every second of their life till the end of their life. And then third, track and measure your progress and adjust. So that's, guys, what I want to leave you for the weekend to think about. Weekend is a great thing. It's a great time also to create new experiment, to start new experiment on Monday, to prepare properly, doing, some shopping or some schedule reorganizing, etc. So think about it. If you have any questions, if you need help with creating your diet, meal plan, workout plan, anything in between, shoot me an email to angela@createyourself.today. angela@createyourself.today. Follow me on my Fitness Pal to see what I'm eating daily, what my diet is like right now in Siberia. For the next 3 weeks, I'm staying here with my parents. So that, and just stay tuned. I'm doing also Q&As Monday to Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern and 9:30 p.m. Eastern, Monday to Friday, every day. So come and get your questions answered live on Instagram. And what else? Well, thank you for listening, guys. Share this podcast, rate me on iTunes so more people can get better at their eating habits, to get more health, more vitality, more energy, and better looks. And then till next time, eat better daily.